Welcome to Spiritually Speaking with Althea. I'm Althea Jacob, and I am delighted that you are joining us today for this episode. Today, we're going to be talking about restoring power and balance to your life today. So, one of the biggest reasons people seek a life coach is because they feel like something is out of balance in their life. They feel out of control, or they just feel like they keep hitting a brick wall. They don't know what's going on. Why don't I have balance in my life? Why don't I have a sense of control in my life? Why am I always feeling like I'm on the edge all the time? Right. And so I decided to dedicate this episode to looking at the five main aspects of our life where we should have balance, and talk a tiny bit about each one so that you can start to think and say, oh, wow, I never really thought about that. Or, yeah, you know what? Absolutely. That's a part of my life that's out of balance right now. And if I help to get that into balance, it will bring it all together. So the five aspects are finances, our health, our relationships, our spirituality, and our time. And so I'm going to take a little bit and break down each one of those. But before I dive into those in a lot of detail, I'd like to share with you a story about a wake up call I had where my life was a little out of balance when it came to blending two of those aspects, my finances and my spirituality. So this was back in the 80s. I had trained as a Reiki master and as a healer, and I was out there offering my healing services to various clients that would want to have a session and feel what the energy was like and see what could happen. And I had a belief that if something was spiritual, we shouldn't have it be worldly or financial at the same time, right? For whatever reason, back in that day, I thought, oh no, if this is a gift that I've been given to be able to help people with this healing energy and make them feel better. I was also a massage therapist at the time, so I knew a lot about how to create that sense of ease, and I didn't have any hesitancy about charging for the massage. But when it came to charging for the Reiki session, this what I thought of this gift of healing that was coming through me to share with somebody else, I had a really hard time thinking about charging and what to charge and how much to charge. And I really was battling with this. And it occurred to me that just because we are utilizing our gifts doesn't mean we have to give it away for free. Now, sometimes we can if we feel prompted and the spirit moves us. But I began to realize like almost everybody is using their gift in some way in the work they're doing. So a doctor is using his gift of intellect and his gift of visualization and maybe his fine motor coordination if he's a surgeon of being able to work that. And just because he went to school to work and study and learn and get his degrees, um, you would never expect a doctor to just give it away for free, right? You'd be like, no, that would be silly. And what about an artist? Let's take something more pure. So if somebody is there and they're opening up to their gifts and all of a sudden they're able to paint this amazing painting, or this music comes to them and they write this amazing song, we wouldn't expect the artist to just give away his paintings, or the musician not to get a copyright or some kind of royalties for the songs that he's bringing forth, right? And those are his or her gifts. So it took a shift in my mindset to feel okay about charging a client for receiving or being on the receiving end of me using some of my gifts, right? Well, that to me was a bit of a wake up call, but it showed me where I was not in balance with two aspects of my life because they were in a way fighting against each other. If I'm really spiritual, I should give this away for free, but I need to pay my bills and buy food and pay my mortgage and whatnot. So, um, anyway, I wanted to share that story because sometimes it demonstrated how two of the aspects can be fighting each other. And the other one that came in is we have time and money, right? Those are two ends of the spectrum here. And time is all about the balance of work, rest, and play. Well, sometimes that can come right up against what? Our working, right? So if we're a workaholic and we're like, I got to work and work and bring in a lot of money and I have to create a great life for myself and my family and my kids. And what happened about that balance, right? So those two things are fighting each other. So I'm going to go through each of the five aspects, talk a little bit about them, um, give some suggestions about how to assess are you in balance or not, or to look at what's fighting them or not. The question I want you to have in mind as you hear this, that I think would be most useful, would be when you hear that particular aspect, do you feel like, yep, I got that covered? I have that one aspect in balance in my life. I learned that lesson. I have that one down, right? Um, if you get to one we talk about and you're like, oh, I don't even think about that. It's not just not in balance. It's not even part of my life. That will be also a clue to help you know which way to go. So the first one is finances. And once upon a time, I was a financial planner, and I used to sit down with families and help them look at, what's your debt, what's your current budget and needs, what are you doing to plan for your future, and helps all this out. And that's really when it comes to finances. You want to make sure finances is the money you make, the toys you have, the quality of life that you're living with what you're earning, right? What you're bringing in. And so we all deserve to have the money and toys and the good experiences we want, right? And so we might say, well, I'm going to work harder or get a degree or get a different job or go into the trades because my goodness gracious, they're in such demand and it's something fun and useful I can do and also make great money and meet other people, right? So there's lots of factors in there, but finances, you want to make sure that with whatever's coming in, that at a minimum, you're meeting your obligations of the now, right? So whatever it costs you to pay all your monthly expenses, you also, if you have debt, you want to make sure that some of it, that's you have enough coming in that you can pay off that debt in a reasonable amount of time. And you also want to be thinking about your future. And you might only put 5 or 10% of everything that you're making towards your future. But if you do that consistently and grow it in time, so each time you get a raise, you put a little bit more. Each time you get a promotion, you put a little bit more towards your future. And what do I mean towards the future? Well, it could be an emergency fund. It can be a mad money, joy money fund for those impulse items. It can be a travel vacation fund, a gift giving fund. It could be your retirement fund, right? So those are the kinds of things you want to make sure that when you're looking at finances, you want to make sure you have balance of I've cleaned out any debt, I'm planning for my future, and I'm making the most of the now. If we're devoting too much of, I got to pay off all that debt right away, and I'm not enjoying the now because I don't even have money to go out to watch a bargain matinee movie, maybe we should be a little more gentle and kind with ourselves and say, all right, I'll still be paying off that debt, but I'm gonna take that $5 a week and go to that bargain matinee, right? Um, if you're not putting anything in for your retirement at all, you really want to start thinking and asking yourself, what can I put on hold that I'm doing now? Maybe you go out to dinner one night less a week, or get one less Starbucks, or one less new piece of clothing that week or that month. And you take that money and you put that towards a retirement fund, a mutual fund, something where you know that you'll have that money there and it'll build over time. Because the sooner you start saving, the more that time helps you and that money compounds and you get interest on your interest on your interest, and that money grows very quickly. If you wait longer, it's gonna make it much harder. So anyway, so that first key is that financial balance. The next one is health. And health here is health of your body, mind, and spirit, right? It's, are you getting enough rest? Are you drinking enough water? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you getting enough exercise? Are you doing the things that make your body feel strong and keep your energy alert and high for when you need it to be alert and high, and able to chill out and rest and relax when you're in a more fun, relaxing environment? And can you fall asleep quickly, and do you have a good quality of sleep? And so those are all part of aspects of health. Are you taking your vitamins that you need to be taking and supplements that you need to be taking? If you're on medications, are you taking them in the right amounts and at the right times, and not forgetting to take them, or trying to self diagnose and self medicate with, oh, I'll take this here and try that there, right? So your physical health matters because that's going to impact your energy field as well as how you feel and think and your spiritual self as you're going into the world, right? So your energy impacts everything. It impacts all your interactions with other people, it impacts the quality of your work, and it impacts your own experience of your life. Then we have relationships as the third aspect. And the relationships here, it can be with a significant other, it can be friends, it can be family, it can be um, even relationship with yourself in the sense of give and take, right? Is there a reciprocity going forth? Are you in a relationship that's very one-sided, where you're always the one that's giving or you're always taking, right? That's not balance. Balance in a relationship means that there's a give and a take, right? It doesn't have to be exactly 50-50, but it shouldn't be 90% you give and you only get back 10%, right? There's going to be times in life with different friends, different family members. And when I say with yourself, that give and take with ourselves is how kind we are to ourselves. Are we hard on ourselves? Do we push ourselves? Do we reward ourselves? Right? So you can be in relation with yourself, but this is probably the balance or imbalance is with other people, right? So are you a little narcissistic and everything's always about you? Are you a little bit of a self-sacrificer and everything is always about other people? And you always put yourself last. Okay. Neither one of those is ideal, right? You want to have a healthy ego, a healthy balance, a healthy give and take. Take care of yourself, because if you don't have a full cup, you don't have something to share with others, right? If your gas tank is empty, you can't take somebody else for a ride, or volunteer to be the carpool mom for the week, right? So there's a righteousness in taking care of yourself and becoming the healthiest, strongest, best version of you, as well as giving and receiving in return, right? And if you're one of these people like, oh, I love to give, I love to do for everybody else, but oh no, I don't want people to do for me, that's also not balanced, because you're depriving them. You're actually being spiritually selfish by depriving others the joy of giving to you, of doing for you after you've done all these things for them over the years, right? So you do want this gentle balance. And again, sometimes it might be 60-40 instead of 50-50, or even 70-30 at certain times of life. We all go through times when we need a little bit more help and when we're able to give a little bit more help. But overall, you want to check the patterns. If every one of your friends, you're the one that's always giving and doing, and like nothing happens unless you pick up the phone or text. If you're always the one doing it, you might want to kind of step back and say, okay, this relationship with this friendship, what am I really getting out of it? Because it seems like I'm the one putting all the effort in, right? And hopefully that's not your spouse. Hopefully that's not your main significant other relationship. But if it is, you might want to have, a serious conversation with that person and say, or think it through yourself of, what could make this relationship even better for me, would be having it be more balanced. Now, spirituality is the fourth aspect. And spirituality is really about, what is your relationship with that which is greater than self? What is your soul's purpose? What brings you joy in this lifetime? How are you expressing your creativity? One of the prior episodes we did was about the hero's journey. So how are you accomplishing your journey? What's on your path? Where are you on your path? What are the things that you're doing to tune in so that you'll hear that call, right? When that call to adventure comes. Spirituality can be, your religious roots and background. It can be your personal ethics and morality and what is right or wrong in your world. It can be how you interact with others. It can be how charitable of spirit, how loving you are, how you choose love over fear, and you always do the right thing, right? Spirituality can be lots of different things to different people. But what is it to you? And are you making time for that in your life so you feel fulfilled and you're not just sleepwalking through your life of getting up in the morning, doing your chores, going to work, running some errands, coming back home, chilling out, doing the same thing the next day, the next day, the next day, right? Maybe a different version on the weekend, right? So spirituality asks you to look at what is the meaning? What's the so what of my life? How am I making an impact? What's my legacy going to be? Am I feeling like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Do I feel content in my soul, or do I feel discontent because I know I'm not even close to doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm looking for help and figuring that out. And then the last aspect is time, and time is the balance of work, rest, and play, right? And this is where we, especially in our Western cultures, have a real challenge, right? Because if you look at it, it's a balance of work, rest, and play. We should be sleeping 8 hours, we should be working 8 hours, and then we should be playing 8 hours. I don't know about you. I can't remember the last time I spent 8 hours playing in a day, right? Not happening. However, it shouldn't be 1 hour once a month or either, right? Well, what's the real balance point for you of work, rest, and play? And maybe you're like, okay, I work hard so that I can play hard later, right? Okay, well, what does that mean? Does that mean that you're working in 80 hours a week and once a year you go on a 2-week vacation? You know, maybe you want to look at what's more balanced in your life so that you can have more time to be with the family and be with the friends and do the things that are fulfilling to your spirit and bring you that sense of balance in your life. So um, I wrote a little book 8 years ago, and it's called The Creative Not Now. And in here I dive into each of those aspects a little bit further. It's subtitled Life Coaching Secrets of How to Restore Balance, Power and Balance to Your Life Today. And so it's available on Amazon and on Kindle. So if you want to know a little bit more about those topics, feel free to check that out. Right now, I'd like to do our metaphysical moment and exercise and help you take a look at some of your beliefs that might be preventing you from having balance in one of those 5 aspects. So if you are able to jot this down somewhere and have a journal, or obviously if you're driving, wait for later, just do it as a mental exercise right now. But think about, what are your beliefs about money? What are your beliefs about love? And what are your beliefs about self-worth and your personal ego, right? So in your journal or in your thought process, you want to journal, what are the positive things you believe about each of those: money, love, and self-worth? And what are some of the negative beliefs about each topic? So like for money, for some people, and I had this one, I guess it's from my religious upbringing when I was young, but I heard from the pastor at the front of the church saying, money is the root of all evil. Okay. Well, you have to get past money being the root of all evil if you're going to have money in your life so you can do good things. Because we also need money in order to pay our bills and to provide for our family and ourselves. And money can pay for the fun stuff as well as the necessary things. So if we have a really deep belief that money is the root of all evil, we're not having a good relationship with money. It's going to be harder for us to attract it, to have that sense of flow. My belief about money right now, that I came to, what I shifted to actually years ago, was I will always have more than enough money flowing into my life to pay my bills, cover my needs, and have enough left over that I can help friends or family when they need it, right? So I didn't create this vision of myself being this wealthy, wealthy person that was, going off on these, 6 month at a time, cruise around the world things, although that doesn't sound half bad, does it? Now, at this point in my life, that could be kind of cool. But I have a good relationship with money now, and I have for a while. That if there's a need, if there's a workshop I want to take or a retreat I want to go to, I know that money will come to me in some way. Right? That's my belief, and that's also my reality. So if I want to sign up to go on a workshop and I need $2,500, almost always shortly after saying I really want to take this, I'll have somebody call me and say, hey, would you come teach and lecture at our retreat, or hey, would you put together a women's retreat for this group, or hey, you know, would you please offer a Zoom workshop on this topic? I have 50 people that all want to take it. Okay, cool. My cost of that workshop's done. Doesn't mean we just handed it. It's not like, oh, here's the winning lotto number and you don't have to do anything for it. It's like, no, I'm willing to roll up my sleeves and work and do what I have to earn that extra money that I want to use for that fun retreat or that workshop I want to take. Uh, but my belief system about money serves me that I'm in that flow. And I can be generous with giving to other people because I know as I give, I will also receive, right? I'm a steward. It passes through me and anything I need will come, right? Nature abhors a vacuum, right? So if you're tight with anything, tight with your time, tight with your money, tight with your praise, tight with your gratitude, you're stopping the flow. Anyway, back to your exercise. So first, what are your beliefs about them, positive and negative, about money, about love, about self-worth? What's positive, what's negative? Notice the patterns. And then here's the important part. Claim and reinforce what works for you. Make a conscious choice about it. Find counterexamples to dissipate any of the negative beliefs. So what helped me get over the money is the root of all evil is I started focusing on, well, who has a lot of money that's doing great things in the world? And you look at philanthropists like Bill and Melinda Gates or Warren Buffett, and you're like, wow, these people are like super duper wealthy. And they use their money to help bless the lives of hundreds of thousands and tens of thousands of people around the world, right? So I found a counterexample, right? So in your life, as you're going through your belief systems about love, about money, about your self-worth, if there's something negative that's holding you back and stopping you from having balance in that area of your life, find the counterexamples and claim the positive, reinforce the positive beliefs so that any of the negative get less and less and less present, and it'll help you as you go forward. I'd like to share with you at the end of this episode here some inspired writings. If you've been following our podcasts since the beginning, you know I like to share inspired writings or poetry that's come through because usually there's something about the messages that come through from spirit that they're not just for me, they're to share with others. And I believe that some of that will touch, there'll be some part of what you hear that will make you think or will touch your heart or will lift up your spirit in some way. So this particular writing that came through is called Essence. You are the light and darkness balanced in the night sky. You are love and hate balanced in a wounded heart. You are man and woman expressing individuality despite the oneness at your core. You are living, yet dying, as you traverse the line called time. You are a fractal within a fractal for the lifetimes that you have lived. You are a higher self, a lower self, an unconscious, conscious, super conscious self, just trying to make it through the day. When that came through me, and I wrote it down a while ago, what hit me about that was, you know what? It really doesn't matter where we are in that spectrum. Are we coming from that higher self, the lower nature? Are we conscious, unconscious? Are we super conscious and aware? No, it doesn't matter. We're all just trying to get through the day, you know, and realizing that there's patterns and realizing that, you know, in so many ways we can help ourselves by loving ourselves, by accepting ourselves where we are, by working one day at a time, one step at a time to move in the direction of where we want to go and becoming more and more the person we want to become in our future. So if you like that kind of inspired writings, I have a book that I just am publishing. It's going to be out. This is my little author's proof, which is it's not for resale on it right now. But it's going to be available on Amazon and on Kindle at the last week of April. And this is a book that has a lot of uplifting passages, prompting questions to make the reader think, lots of personal advice, some ancient wisdoms, just sharing a lot to help expand consciousness and uplift and give some guidance. So if you feel so inspired, check it out and spread the word. And so thank you again for joining me for Spiritually Speaking with Althea. Hope you've enjoyed this episode where we talked about the 5 aspects of balance in your life. Once again, that's your finances, your health, your relationships, your spirituality, and your time. And thank you very much for spending your time with me today going through this podcast. I look forward to answering any questions you may have and discussing topics that uplift your soul, and seeing you again or hearing from you again or in a future episode. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a blessed day. This is Althea from Spiritually Speaking with Althea, signing off. Bye.